Hello everyone, it is January 27th, 2019. This is going to be a bit of a different video in that I am going to start it out rather dry, so bear with it. It takes off actually at the last half, but I do have to start it out with something that's going to be pretty dry for most people. It is numbers. But I do include a couple videos that will take this into the realm of NASA very quickly and explain a little bit more about what you're seeing on the floor here. So bear with me and let's get started. This remix combines short excerpts from different source materials and creates a new message about the effects of provocative rhetoric in times of economic crisis. Works that create new meaning for the source material may be considered fair use. Okay, guys, here we go. Bear with a few minutes of numbers. Let's build on a number, the number 6. Here is its biblical meaning. The number 6 is significant in the Bible because it is the number of man, the number of imperfection. It is a human number. It implies man's existence minus God minus Christ. Thus, number 6 in the Bible is related to man and his imperfections or shortcomings. And we have this verse in the Bible, not with 1 6, but 3 6s, 6, 6, 6. Revelation chapter 13, verse 18. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 6, 6, 6. This is the number of the beast in Revelation. So 6, 6 is likely not a good number. Stands to reason, correct? Okay, we've got occult Illuminati symbolism. According to esoteric tradition, the numbers 6, 6, 6, and 666 are what constitute a pathway for hexcraft or spiritual magic to be performed as charming tool for both hexing and enchanting. So you can tell this is not a good number, neither are those two. I was going to go into this. It's a little bit long. This is not a good sign, neither is our American flag. Depicted are the magic squares, Soli seals, which feature the 666 numerology and are conflated with six-pointed magic hex stars, so-called Philosopher's Stone, Star of David. There are 6 sides to this. Of course, each one of these is a perfect triangle connected to a hexagonal, which just happens to be a storm that rages on the top of Saturn. There's a book called The Ring of Saturn, The Makers of the Rings of Saturn. That's quite fascinating. You also got, when you deal with numerology, each one of these triangles is an angle of 60 degrees. You pull the 0 off of that in numerology and you end up with 3 6s. There's nothing good about that symbol. So remember this dreadful woman from my last video? Masonic hand signs. Self-proclaimed German vampire Manuela Ruda. Dark World, Daniel and Manuela Ruda, the Sicarios of Satan, killer vampires. Okay, you got the signs you're seeing again and again. Looks like her husband's taking a little chomp on her neck. Killing for Satan. They stabbed him, and you see how many times. They knew the satanic number and the ceremony involved. So, there we go. As I pointed out previously, Yahweh, our Hebrew father of the Bible, and Satan, the adversary, both use numbers to communicate as they are a pure form of language. There is a book in the Bible called the Book of Numbers. Okay, so we know that Yahweh and the adversary each have their own numbers. 1, 7, 12, 40, 70, 77 are some of Yahweh and Yeshua Jesus Christ. 6, 9, 11, 13, 33, 66, 69, 666 are Satan's. 33 is an arguable number inasmuch as the fallen angels had taken it. Christ sees the number and showed that he has taken this number or this realm back, dying at the age of 33 and having the transfiguration take place on Mount Hermon at the 33rd parallel and 33rd latitude on Earth. So having shown you the meaning of numbers, we have this curious thing. We have 66 books in the Bible. The last 27 books of the Bible, from Matthew to Revelation, were written in Greek. Hence, with the first 39 Hebrew Aramaic books of the Holy Bible, from Genesis to Malachi, combined with the 27 books of the Greek scriptures, we have the biblical canon of 66 books that makes up our complete Bible. Why 66 books in the Bible? This appears to be an evil number, or a number with a very negative connotation. So who ultimately decides how many books are in the Bible? Where did this decision begin? Okay, we've got Constantine here, the First Council of Nicaea. This immediately set up alarm bells when I saw the picture of this council. Obviously, this is just a painting depiction, but you can already tell they've got the Dagon hats. This is fish worship right here. If you dig into any of this in the past, you understand what this is about. There's nothing Christian about this. So you got the first Council of Nicaea was a council of Christian bishops convened in the Bithynian city of Nicaea by the Roman Empire Constantine in AD 325. This ecumenical council was the first effort to attain consensus in the church through the assembly representing all of Christendom. We've even got this. Now, this is better than even the hats because we've got the coins. They tell a story too. Below is another Constantine coin. Notice that its inscription, the right half here, reads, So invicto comus, or committed to the invincible sun. So, we've got the unconquerable sun. That's the wrong way to spell it, guys, if you're worshiping the Son of God. So S-U-N was the official sun god of the latter Roman Empire, and a patron of soldiers. On December 25th, AD 274, the Roman Emperor Aurelian made it the official cult alongside the traditional Roman cults. So again, we've got this number not being associated whatsoever with the birth of Yeshua Jesus Christ, who was apparently, they believe, was born probably in September. That's when the censuses were being taken oftentimes in that part of the world when everyone had to report in. It was nothing near this date. This is an occult date to worship this. So we've got, again, more information about that. And, of course, the day Sunday was changed. If you look in the Bible, you will understand that the Jewish religion does not do anything to venerate this at all. In fact, they negate it in every way. There's moon festivals. So it's the opposite of this. They will absolutely have nothing to do with this for a reason. So it's very interesting that when you get away from our Hebrew Father in heaven, you end up with this. Here's an interesting number. The number 70 is made up of two numbers, 7 representing perfection and 10 representing completeness and God's law. Through the Bible, Genesis to Revelation, that number 7 appears many times. Yahweh promised us that his word would never be lost, and he gave different penalties for taking away or adding to it, but he never guaranteed that it would not happen, only that his word would never be lost. Has he sent us a very clear numerical message that something is very wrong here with the number of manuscripts put in this number of books selected by man in a compendium called the Bible? The Bible has only been called the Bible by people outside of the books themselves. There's no mention of a word called the Bible within the Bible. These different books contained within the Old Testament are used by the Jewish faith, differ from the Christian Protestant churches, and they also differ from the Catholic. Are some books missing or have been hidden? When Jesus was discussing the tale of the one wife for 7 men with the Pharisees regarding which man would have this woman in heaven, Jesus chastised them for not being familiar enough with the scriptures. Okay, now he's chastising them, the Pharisees, for not being familiar with their own scriptures. One does not marry in heaven, but is like the angels. You will not find that scripture anywhere in the Bible today except where Jesus mentioned it right there in the New Testament, which was written after his death. So what happened to that teaching that was being chastised with regard to the Pharisees that was in the Old Testament scriptures? Where did it go? It is not there today. It is only found in the book of Enoch, which is mentioned of in the book of Jude. It appears we have already found an Old Testament book that's been removed. I will never tell anyone what books should or not be in the Bible, but I will tell you that there are books out there that may have been removed. We have the book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch is an ancient Jewish religious work ascribed by tradition to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah. This is the book that talks about the human hybrids that walked on the earth. This planet looked like a zoo. You will see it in ancient lithographs, hieroglyphs, carvings, all over the world. Everybody is carving things that are half-human, hybrid-type beings. These things have been found everywhere. And again, we also have the skeletons that are now coming up left and right that are showing that these things actually existed. I'm going to do a video on that too. And we have this most interesting book. This is the book that gets into NASA and what I'm about to discuss. The Ascension of Isaiah is a pseudepigraphical Jewish Christian text. It was composed between the late 1st century AD and the beginning of the 3rd century AD. This particular chapter in the Ascension of Isaiah got my attention. But the saints will come with the Lord with their garments, which are now stored up on high in the 7th heaven. With the Lord they will come, whose spirits are clothed. They will descend and be present in the world, and he will strengthen those who have been found in the body, together with the saints, in the garments of the saints, and the Lord will minister to those who have kept watch in this world. And afterwards they will turn themselves upward in their garments, and their bodies will be left in the world. Ascension of Isaiah chapter 4, verse 16 and 17. Because this is connected to biblical verses spoken by Jesus to his disciples. I noticed this before I even discovered this book. There's something in the Bible that nobody talks about, and it's so plain. Matthew chapter 16, verse 28. Truly I tell you, some who are standing here will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. He was telling this to his disciples, that some of them would not die until his return. Matthew chapter 10, verse 23. When you are persecuted in one place, flee to another. Truly, I tell you, you will not finish going through these towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. When he's talking about towns of Israel, he's not talking about Jewish towns. He's talking about my people, Israel. My people, Israel, has absolutely nothing to do with the country of Israel. It's the Jewish 10 lost tribes that are scattered throughout Moscow, all of Russia, all of Europe, and all of the United States. This is the stuff that religion blinds everyone to. We look at all this stuff because our religions tell us what to think, and so you go past this and you go past this. You don't look at these things, they don't make any sense, and then I find books that will back up what I saw here. So I know what that book is telling me. And this connects with ufology and abductions. I gave this accounting I heard on a program hosted by an Emmy Award-winning journalist named Linda Moulton Howe to a friend. This is what I shared with him.
Hey, Matt. It's Brad. It is 4:30 on Friday. I wanted to show you this. I'm going to send this on this saying from a book called The Ascension of Isaiah. Apparently, there are books that have been set aside that were only to be shown at the very end, which is where we are at now. I think I don't know, maybe I didn't share this with you, but a while back, and this is before I was even Christian, I was, listening to UFO channels, and one of them had talked about a woman who had been abducted, and she saw a body lying on a table, and she saw a spirit that had been removed out of a body that was being transplanted into another one. And this was somebody who had lived in the U.S. that had cancer, and his body was dying, and his body had been, I think, abducted, removed from the hospital where she was dying, and his spirit was being reassigned into a new body that was cancer-free and being put, I believe it was in Australia, but the being that talked to this young girl said it was very important that this individual remain alive. And so anyway, I will send this on because this connects very much to what I was talking about. And she said she saw a blue light removed out of a vessel that had been taken out of and was put into this body. So anyway, here is the Bible verse, and I'll let you connect the dots. Have a good day.
So again, let's read this one more time with more discernment. But the saints will come down with the Lord with their garments, which are now stored up on high in the seventh heaven. Garments being bodies that are being stored in stasis. With the Lord they will come, whose spirits are clothed in these bodies. They will descend and be present in the world, and he will strengthen those who have been found in the body, together with the saints, in the garments of the saints. In other words, these are in the bodies of those that are the saints. And the Lord will minister to those who have been keeping watch in the world. And afterwards they will turn themselves upward in their garments, and their bodies will be left in the world. I will just guess that that's the disciples. Ascension of Isaiah chapter 4, verse 16 through 17. I've shown this in my last two videos and what this personifies. Revelation 12, verse 3 and 4, and another sign appeared in heaven. An enormous red dragon with 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns on its head. Okay, now we're to where I was at the very beginning showing this patch. I'm going to show you what NASA has been putting out since 1965. They've been using shirt patches for their missions. This just happens to be one particular one. It was NROL-32. There's a whole bunch of this series, but we're going to go into what the meaning of the dragon is in the Bible. Now, there's a couple different verses here, but Revelation 20, verse 2 tells us the dragon is the devil or Satan. the dragon appears to symbolize power as well. So we've got NASA's website right here showing what? A red dragon. Now, this is just another one of the icons they use. This is the ISS Dragon Space Debris Sensor. Okay, this is NROL-47, another mission. This was a covert mission that took place earlier this year. It was extremely secretive. Many of the major governments of the world were launching covert satellites at this time and were not discussing what it was about. This was one of them. You've got, again, the red dragon, and you are sporting a Black Knight, which is the personification of what is called the Black Knight satellite. It supposedly is a satellite that has been up in space for 13,000 years. Now, we've got an eBay, I found this NROL-39 patch. Again, we got the red dragon. This very much looks to me like this is supposed to be Knights Templar. That's the Catholic Jesuit. It's the military wing of the Catholic Church that supposedly has been gone for a long, long time. I just believe it merged into something else. And again, we've got the California's Vandenberg Air Force Base. They show their launches on off channels, and obviously they're pending a launch, and they've got their icon on the screen until it happens. But there you go. Another one here, another launch time and date. So we got a red dragon all over NASA shirt patches, and now have a look at this patch I found on eBay. Okay, this one I saw and I was like, wow, okay, they're so obvious with what they're showing. Again and again, it's always the same things. We've got the Eye of Horus here. Notice how everything ends up back at Egypt? I saw this patch today and I knew what it meant and where its reference was within the Bible. Okay, I saw this, I was like, oh, wow, it's a frog, okay. Then I saw three evil spirits that look like frogs. They came out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. They are spirits of demons performing miraculous signs, and they go out to the kings of the whole world to gather them for the battle of the great day of God Almighty. It says in the Bible at the very end, all things will be revealed and nothing will remain hidden. So all sorts of things are coming out of the closet now. This, I understand, is basically it's pineal gland possession with the serpent that's occupying and possessing a vessel, which is this individual right here. But you've also got this on this side. This is the symbol of the eagle. This is also Assyrian in origin, so it's a pairing between these two small gods, small g, O-D-S. Looks like somebody heisted the jewels out of the side of this. So all this stuff is coming out now. And I saw three evil spirits that look like frogs. They came out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. This possession has already began. I will cover it in another video. There is a physical method in which this is being done. This gets pretty wild, and I am going to do a video on this. This is going on all over the place now, and people are photographing it. It's leaving a physical trace, and it's it's getting to the point that media is asking questions now because it's happened to too many people. But that's, again, for another video. Back to this. We've got the two symbols. Now, getting past this in its personification, Revelation 12, verse 3, having arrived above our heads, I want to play this audio from 1997. This is decades ago, guys. This was a well-known radio program called The Art Bell Show. A man called in saying he had recently worked in Area 51 and he was in a complete panic during the call. This was the only time in this radio station's history that they had completely lost power. It happened during this call.
Line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Yes.
Hi. I don't have a whole lot of time.
Well, look, let's begin by finding out whether you're using this line properly or not.
Area 51.
Yeah, that's right. Were you an employee or are you now?
A former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and I've kind of been running across the country. Oh man, I don't know where to start. They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really soon.
So you can't spend a lot of time on the phone. So give us something quick.
Okay. Okay. What we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming, the military, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now aren't.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped out so that the few that are left will be more easily controllable.
Discharge.
I started getting.
In some way, something knocked us off the air, and we're on a backup system now.
It's the government, or
I don't know.
it has to be something, though.
Well, did you hear? Now, you tell me because you were listening.
That was awful strange.
There was a really weird guy on the air when it went off?
Yeah, real weird out.
Like going sort of sounding paranoid, schizophrenic.
Like crying and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how far into the conversation was it when it went off?
Just a couple, about 15, 20 seconds, I'd say.
Oh, you
Something like that.
guys you really missed a call then, and I've got a feeling somebody didn't want you to hear it.
Yeah. Because it was really strange. All of a sudden, I'm hearing Mark Furman, and when
That's right. Well, the network, of course, went immediately to a backup tape while we tried to figure out what blew up here. So that's what you heard happen. And then we're now on a backup link system to be on the air at all right now. So.
Okay. You heard what he said. There are safe places they could begin moving the populations to now, but they don't want to. They want the major cities wiped out so they can control the few that remain. That won't be the case. Amos chapter 8, verse 8, will not the land tremble for this, and all those who live in it mourn? The whole land will rise like the Nile. It will be stirred up and then sink like the river of Egypt. Matthew chapter 24, verse 22. And if those days had not been cut short, no human being would be saved. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. Luke 21, verse 34 through 36. Be careful, or your hearts will be weighed down with carousing, drunkenness, and the anxieties of life, and that day will close on you suddenly like a trap. For it will come on all those who live on the face of the whole earth. Be always on the watch, and pray that you may be able to escape all that is about to happen, and that you may be able to stand before the Son of Man. Now, I want to show you guys what this is all about and what Revelation 12:3 is, because there's a lot of videos out about it, and it is here. People have been filming this worldwide, and it always looks the same.
Okay, so here I am out here in September, and as you can see, there's obviously a really very clear planet that is right north of the sun. And wow, I would love to say it was the moon, but since the moon happens to be right here on the opposite side, there's no way it is. And since we all have been taught in school that Mercury and Venus do not show up, oh, just look at that planet just beaming and shining right now. Somebody tell me what it is. Thank you.
Satan, the Hebrew word for the adversary, has arrived above us. And Yahweh is through with the wickedness of Babylon. Now I want to show you guys this. This is named by the USGS. We've got Babylon Canyon. We've got New York City. This entire city was built in location with this in mind, and this was named with that in mind. I had a vision about the East Coast. I will go into it in another video, but it involved the entire thing, and it involved a lot of blood. If you're his child, you will be removed from his wrath. Look east, your world is about to be shaken. And Yahuwah makes it clear, you are to have faith and not run. He warns us against this. However, if one does so, they have nowhere to hide. Amos chapter 9, verse 3, though they hide themselves on the top of Carmel, there I will hunt them down and seize them. Though they hide from eyes at the bottom of the sea, there I will command the serpent to bite them. Even those that take a submersible to the bottom of the sea and to escape, Yahuwah makes it clear that the serpent race will be made aware of them even down there and will pursue them. Do you have on the full armor? Or will you run? Luke chapter 21, verse 26. Men will faint from fear and anxiety over what is coming upon the earth, for the powers of heavens will be shaken. Armor of God. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. The helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the loins girt about with the truth, the word of the Spirit, the shield of faith, feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. If you decide to follow Jesus, expect enemy attacks. Read me. God bless everyone.